my dad is not her first husband. She never had kids with the other guy, right? You Preston knows this. But I didn't know that they got married in Vegas. It was a Vegas wedding.
Really, your mom?
How soon?
I know,
Awesome.
literally. No, I was like, what? Welcome back to the LooneyBin Podcast. This is episode 23 of season 2, and I'm John.
I'm
Henry.
Liza. Oh!
That's Liza.
That's all right.
That's Eliza, and I'm Tyler.
And the reason why we were late today was that I was driving, and all of a sudden, I see a really dark figure come in front of me, and I was going about 85, going 5 miles over, the one I was supposed to. In Minnesota, they're kind of really itchy on
5
that
miles
subject.
over what you're supposed to?
What is it here?
Yeah, so like 85.
70?
What?
Is it
I'm like
70?
I think like
35.
Yeah,
one of the-
35W. What is the speed limit on that?
60.
I was gonna say it's like 65.
Oh, whatever. I'm
Maybe
driving 80.
55 closer.
I'm driving 80 and going down. And I see this dark brown fur figure come in front of me. I'm like immediately
he's
swerve,
not
get out and then keep going forward. And I'm like, what was it? And at first I think, Bigfoot. There was a documentary, pre-LooneyBin. There's a lot of history with, maybe that was the actual karma that was coming after me.
It was a hit.
It was a hit. And I actually turned back. It was just a moose.
Just a
Yeah,
moose.
just the one.
Just a moose. But they might be actually more dangerous than a Bigfoot. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah,
was
you
pretty
hit
scared.
a moose and it's over.
Moose can fuck you up.
You weren't on 35W, though. That's what I said.
I wasn't on 35W. Right. I was actually going south on
speed- I don't know.
169.
Yeah, that's definitely not a road you want to drive.
Yeah, it's true. Too much shelter.
But yeah, no, somebody who there's somebody that I went to high school with who like moved from Maine to Minnesota, and in Maine they don't have like street lights either, but they have way more moose. And they're like, if you're driving at night and you're just in these long forested pathways, like you just pray there's no moose because
like
you're just
Michigan.
gone.
Yeah.
If you
yeah,
see
it
one, it's
is.
over. It's insane.
Oh
I have
my
a deer
God.
hitting story.
Deer hitting
We
story.
should
My
get
neighbor-
Oh my God. that-
My neighbor
Oh, yeah, John's got
Susan-
one.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that right before this, actually. My neighbor Susan, who's also my best friend growing up, her dad was like driving. Tyler will know where this is, kind of by my house, maybe. Do you know, like, by that church on the way to the Starbucks? There's like a stop sign there, and he was turning right, and a deer jumped and
Yeah.
ran through his windshield and like landed in his passenger seat. And then he
Wait.
printed pictures of it and knocked on her door and showed my parents. He printed them.
Hey, I would do that. Who's gonna believe you
But
that the
yeah, it
deer
just sat in
jumped
his
into your
lap.
passenger seat?
Why? I mean,
Or-
why
yeah.
not? So actually, new to the podcast right now is Liza, and that is Tyler's girlfriend, actually. So we were happy to include her here on the podcast. And a little introduction for yourself, Liza.
Oh.
Just say what you do, where
All
you
right.
are.
I'm a
Icebreakers.
Gusty. I'm a senior Gusty, so I'm a year younger than Tyler and John. Henry, are we the same age, though?
Are you 21?
I'm 22.
Then you're older than I am.
Isn't that nuts?
That's wild. to
Henry's a
me.
youngin.
Yeah, isn't it?
Henry's a youngin.
Yeah, I go to Gustavus, finishing up school. That's kind of me. Tyler's girlfriend. We just had our 9-month anniversary.
Yep.
Really?
Going great. Going strong.
Congrats.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
In honor of that, episode 23.
Yeah, literally. No, that usually Liza's here on the nights we do podcasts, so it seemed almost honorary that she was able to be on tonight.
That's
'cause
true.
she-
In spirit most
Yeah,
nights.
yeah, I
It
mean,
just kind of,
yeah.
it kind
Whispering
of
in
works
the
with my
kitchen
schedule to come on Tuesdays.
Right.
Honestly, that's why I'm here a lot.
No, I agree.
And then I'm just doing homework. Well, I watch it a lot, usually, downstairs.
Down in the room.
Yeah, down in the room. Yeah, whatever. And now you understand the lights, the camera, the
Yeah.
action, really the showbiz.
It's impressive. It really is.
Yeah, the studio's really something else.
yeah, yeah. Just wait till you get to the studio. Once we upgrade to that point. But going back to the subject of the deer, just on that little tangent that we're doing. When Henry and I were driving through Michigan, we were probably rocking, what was that, hour 16, hour 15? And that's when we got to Michigan, to the point of the north part, because we decided to be
Yeah,
dumb, and we went all the way up to the UP.
right. You started driving at 7 in the morning. And it's
6.
It's now 1 in the morning, and you have 3 hours left,
Yeah.
and you're just like, ugh. God.
And it's pitch black, and all you see is trees. Their interstates is all trees.
Oh,
like
it's just it's the road. There's no shoulder. There's trees as the shoulder
Yeah.
of the road.
And
Is it pretty though?
whoa.
Oh, it was
Oh,
dark.
it's dark.
Yeah,
I was
it's
gonna say
dark.
during the
Nighttime.
day it's decent.
Well, during the day,
I mean, you see like one house every 50 miles.
No,
You're like, oh, there is people that live
the
here.
best part, Tyler, is during the day. What we drove through Amish country. We drove through Amish country
That's
for
all
probably
it
about
is.
like 5 hours. I
It's
swear to
just
God,
like
it
redneck
was.
houses
Yeah,
over and over again
yeah.
forever.
All straw hats, no deodorant because they don't believe in deodorant. You could just literally smell it from your
Straw
car.
hat.
That's true. I
crazy.
swear to God, it's true
There's a
because they
lot of
just smell
smells in
like
Michigan.
yeah, there is. There really is. And I remember like actually going through and we actually get in where we're supposed to be. Take a whatever our right was, and we get into Cadillac, a small town, right before Lansing, right?
Well, makes
I think
sense.
it
You're
was
going to
Lansing.
MSU, right?
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
Michigan State, so that it was, yeah, it was. So then we get in, we pull in, do whatever, we get situated. And I remember the next day, so imagine getting there at 1 and then waking up merely 4 hours later, and Henry had to
Dude,
drive
an hour and
me
a half drive
to a
again.
2.5 hour drive to Lansing so he could drop me off. Just imagine how that trip literally, and then the whole week you're there for a workshop.
Yeah.
So you wake up at 6 and then you're done at 5. Oh God, that was a different time. But I remember they always have moose signs, or they had deer signs at least. North Dakota has a lot of deer signs.
I was gonna say, I feel like Minnesota, you don't ever get any of the moose signs.
I've
I
never
think I've
seen a
maybe seen
moose.
like one,
Really?
Yeah.
one or
I don't-
two,
Maybe.
like way up
They're
north.
big, like tanks.
Yeah,
So
They're cool.
I know, I agree.
have
So
you not seen them at the zoo?
I'm
They
not a
have
big zoo
moose
person.
at the
at
zoo?
all.
Zoo person?
Yeah,
No, I
they have
love
them
Not
at,
really.
uh,
I'm not
I'd
a
go to
zoo
the zoo
person.
any
We're
day.
gonna go to a
The-
zoo
You
though
would.
soon.
Fuck
The Minnesota Zoo. It's got
do they have
I don't-
moose?
I
yeah,
don't
because they've
remember
got like
that.
a
They don't
Minnesota
have
section.
moose.
Yeah, they do.
No
Because there's a
way.
Minnesota area. There are moose. I promise you.
God damn.
Because they've got like wildlife of Minnesota.
believe
So
it.
they've got some wolves. They got moose. They got freshwater fish. You got your walleye, your
I love the
bass.
zoo.
Is there a term for moose, as in like a group of moose?
Moose.
It's just moose. There's no group.
There's no
And the
group?
plural is also moose.
Yeah, I think it's
It's
all
Just
moose.
That's a
just
powerful
moose.
word.
Well, it's like deer.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? There probably is like a weird word for it. You know,
Like a blunder.
I love
like
those
a murder
trivias.
of crows.
I love those trivias though. There's like where you're sitting there and it's just like, what's a group of this? And it just could be
Oh, yeah.
completely random.
Weird
Hey,
word.
If you ask me,
Yeah, I've never called though.
if you asked
Never
me
called them.
9-10 years ago, I might know. Back when I
Yeah.
did the old 4-H
Were you into
Wildlife
that?
Bowl.
You know the 4-H.
I got an email
that's
about
great.
4-H today.
4-H is a great time.
The 4-H is
Just raise your kids right.
yeah, that's their line.
I
That's
did
their
not know
freaking
what
line.
4-H was until I met Tyler.
I mean, Preston, did you know 4-H before?
I knew it only because I went to the state fair, but other than that, we didn't have it as like a club I could join at school.
Same,
Yes.
I don't think.
Well,
Well, it
Girl
wasn't like a
Scouts and Boy
school
Scouts, though.
thing.
we didn't have it at school either. It
It's
was
like a
just
community ed.
It was only for Class B people. You knew them like if they were in 4-H, they're Class B. What
What does that
What
mean?
is Class B?
That
Is
What does that
Jamestown
mean?
like living in different?
No, Class B's.
Is this like?
Class B's like Henry Benson High. Class B's like AA, right?
I feel like for 4-H,
What?
for 4-H, it's like up until you're like 13, you're in
What?
4-H, and then you're in FFA.
Yeah, and that's what Class B schools did. So like, North Dakota is ranked on Class A and Class B schools.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then, like, I'm not calling them like lower. I mean,
It
that
sounds like
really-
that's
I
what
mean,
the.
am I
That
right?
sounds like
Yeah.
that's what the
Economic
North
status.
Dakota
Yeah.
government's saying.
No, it was. Well, I know North Dakota actually switched over to where it's going to be like a system because Preston, your school is AAA.
That's what I had too.
Oh, so that's what it
We were
means.
in double A? I don't know.
I think you are right, AA, because
We were something.
Then
in
what
You had
else
to be
was-
higher than double A. Waconia was like double A
I
because
think we're double A for some sports and then triple A for others.
doesn't it go up to
How high
5 though?
does it go?
I think it goes up to 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense then.
so like North Dakota, they just didn't.
I don't know.
They just said A and B.
I
Is a
was in
higher
A.
number like
Bigger.
a better,
Yeah.
bigger?
Like,
Yeah.
More A's is bigger.
Well,
right?
it's not
I think
bigger.
my
It's
high
just
school
it's
was
higher
pretty big.
competitive. It's like leagues. Think of it as like pro,
Divisions.
minor league. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Good old,
just what it is.
good old. Yeah, it's the opposite of colleges.
Yeah.
So like Gustavus D3, but like U of M's D1.
Yep.
And so that was like
The
even a
numbers are
bigger thing,
flipped.
or it's just like I know in North Dakota they switched over because Class B schools thought that they could compete with some Class A schools, so they always switch it around. So I think North Dakota is growing to the point where it is at like Class A in divisions wise, because I know we went to football lower. I always love that when a school goes lower in football, where they just absolutely dominate. But
Not Benson.
yeah, not Benson.
Never
But a weird.
Waconia.
Has anyone been following? Obviously, who ever knows? But St. Thomas. Did you see their record this year?
Fuck
For
St.
football?
Thomas.
Was it good?
I know,
think
fuck
it,
St.
I feel
Thomas.
like it would have been good.
Oh, it
Like, I
was
think I
it was
remember.
incredible. That you see their. You remember that whole new, Preston. You should look that up actually. The price of their donation that they received, and after what was their record this year? I guess is more of my question. But their football program is going up like that. You know, remember when Gustavus is actually used to be, if people don't know, used to be in the same football division as them, but then they went up a rank because they kept just demolishing.
So they were
Everyone.
7-3 overall and 6-2 in their conference. So
That's a pretty
pretty
darn
good.
Who do they
for-
play?
This is like their second
What
year
teams
in
are in their
D1,
conference?
right?
Probably.
They're not like big
Maybe
D1
third.
schools. I
They-
think they're in the same division as NDSU, right?
They're
Or
That's
SDSU?
some-
Might be SDSU.
A guy I went to high school
SDSU
with
is
as a
Division
quarterback
One.
there. But yeah, St. Thomas is now Division 1.
So they're kind of like a subclass. You know, there's mid majors, high majors, low majors
Yeah.
in Division One. They play teams like Drake, Davidson,
Okay.
Stetson, San Diego, Butler. Kind of
still pretty good.
So
That's
they're
enough.
like
lower,
kind
lower
of
major teams, basically.
Yeah. Teams that make it in basketball to this,
Yeah.
in March Madness.
I mean, they're in the Summit League, so
Yeah.
same
And which
league
I think
as
it-
NDSU and
Yeah.
stuff.
And that's always, I feel like that league is always an interesting league because I always think that, like NDSU, it's a league where you think if you win a lot, you could actually make it to the next tier. But when you actually got to the next tier, you absolutely get destroyed.
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just differences, and I think that people just don't really understand that. But I know St. Thomas has just had that crazy donation to where they're putting a lot of money into that program, which is weird. Like, where's Gustavus at this point?
Where's Benson?
Yeah, where's Benson? Yeah.
Oh, Benson.
I feel like people usually ask that whenever we bring it up.
Well, where's
Where's
Benson?
Benson?
Yeah, somebody's got
Benson.
to. They go and check Google Maps. Benson, Minnesota.
I saw it on a map today
We're so good.
for something,
We're so
and I
good
was
at
like,
everything.
that's where Benson is. Yeah.
Isn't it weird that
Never been there.
I feel like
Never
to
heard of
me,
it.
I've been to that area a lot. I still feel like around that area it's just completely undiscovered. I feel like
a
people
weird
still
place.
haven't undiscovered,
weird place.
discovered it.
That's probably how people who live there think about it too.
Well, I mean, I feel like
like
I feel like that's the same almost as like New Germany around in the Waconia area. Like if you're right there, if you live there, you know where it is.
I didn't know that was a
Yeah,
freaking town.
New Germany, and it's only like 15
New
minutes from
Germany.
Waconia.
That's just such an interesting.
But it's like
town
you
name.
only know that town exists nearby
If you're
because
there.
you live in a town next to it. You know,
Waconia's weird.
Waconia is also weird.
Waconia's weirder than Benson. I was there.
I
They're
thought
better than
Waconia was
Benson
kind of
for
cute.
sure.
I had to bring
I
up
think
the.
it's cute.
I brought
I
up
like
the.
the
I
lake.
created the term. It's probably been used before, but like faux suburban. You know, like like it
You're just
feels
an
like you're in a
exurb.
suburb, but
It's an
it's
exurb.
yeah.
That's a thing. Like the next layer of suburbs. It's an exurb.
But the thing is, it's not the next layer because we have like Victoria in between us.
Oh.
yeah,
which
but
is
that's
weird.
also kind of I don't know
That
because
was-
like people commute from Waconia to the city for work.
That's
still.
true.
That was the biggest thing I realized when coming
But
to
it's
the
not
cities
like where I'm from.
and actually living in September. And it was actually something that the teacher I student taught under told me. He kind of drew out a map on a whiteboard, real professor like. And he showed us the level of suburbs, like the direct suburbs, and then like the ones that what are the grade levels? I don't.
Liza said it. Exurbs.
Yeah. But there's like level
Oh
one.
yeah. There's like
The tiers kind of.
yeah. There's
you got like your
tiers,
Edina,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you've got your Eden
Yeah. And
Prairie.
And do you remember what Waconia was?
Well, Coney was like almost considered rural in city standards.
Well, yeah. As soon as you go a little bit further on 5, you're just
Yes.
like, oh, I guess everybody lives on a farm now.
It's called an exurb.
Well, and so that's
Wild.
the weirdest thing is that. So, what are your predictions? Like, how long do you think? Here's a good way. So you see where Faribault is, and then you see where the cities are in the last suburb, which is what, Lakeville, or is that Burnsville? It's got to be Lakeville, right?
I think it'd be Lakeville.
Yeah, it's got to be Lakeville.
Small in, but
How long do you think it is until that whole way is all suburbs?
I don't think ever. I think it'll expand a little bit, but it'll take a long time for it to like fully.
You think so?
Fully, well, 'cause they gotta keep farmland.
Yeah.
You can't just get rid of it all.
I mean, it's kind of
I
but
hope.
where
Say
I'm
it.
from,
Like,
they
fuck,
are
I don't
just
know.
where I'm from in Plymouth. They are just destroying land.
Plymouth.
Yeah,
Well, what
I'd say 15 years.
Well, was Lakeville a
know.
thing when you guys were a kid?
My
Yeah.
cousin grew up in Lakeville. I feel like where I'm from is pretty far out there, right? It's like a half
That
an hour
is.
from the
You
city.
are kind of far out there.
Yeah.
But like, and we still have 2 farms, but they're sod farms, and the city's been trying to like destroy them forever, but they won't stop their business or whatever.
Good business.
Coon Rapids isn't an exurb, though, you know.
But I feel like that, like my mom said that Coon Rapids started growing in like the 80s, and like it still has 2 farms, so like that's been 40 years. So think about that with Lakeville and how many open farms they have. It might not even, it'll take a while.
Well, you definitely can see in like in Coon Rapids. So Coon Rapids, what is bigger than Fargo, isn't it?
Barely.
Yeah, they're pretty similar though to like Fargo in North Dakota. But the houses there, you can see like a lot of the upper development houses, you know, where they all kind of look the same. That's like the early 2000s vibe, isn't it? And that I don't know. I think that's really cool to see. Just is like you can see when they started like expanding and elevating because they all went with that same vibe, that different community vibe. You know what I'm talking about?
I
Where
hate it.
every,
Oh, yeah, I
get
live
what
in
you mean.
one.
yeah, no, you do.
St.
Yeah,
Bonnie, baby.
Yeah, St.
Minnetrista.
But all the houses don't look exactly the same. in
Hunter's
your
Crest
neighborhood.
is pretty.
we're just ripping
It's-
lines at this point. Like we're
Hunter's Crest,
yeah, it's just-
Minnesota.
it doesn't even matter.
I've seen more cookie cutter than that, though, I feel like.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Coon
you have
is pretty cookie
trees.
cutter though. It's like
Yeah.
the
but
roads are
take a drive behind
nice,
Wayzata
and
High
the
School.
Houses are all nice. Benson, you're just like, all right, there's a pothole every 5 inches on the
Yeah.
roads.
Do you
It's
ever
just gravel?
Have you ever drove into a development that just makes you feel a little uncomfortable? Like what Liza's saying, like it's all
Yeah.
cookie cutter, like everybody's got their lawns mowed to like
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
height. And then you just pull in. I was doing this for work when I was treating trees. I just pull up and they were municipal trees. So like I was being paid by like the city or like an organization. So I was being paid by the development to do this, or the company was. But anyways, you pull up and it just feels like you're just being watched. And it's like you'll see people outside, but it's like too few people to be like living there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like it's
A little
dead but
eerie.
alive.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's like entering
Yeah.
the Matrix. You're like, those people are NPCs. They're like walking down and back on their sidewalk, and they're not doing anything else.
What's
Yeah,
that
it's like
movie
they're all at the pool. They
Yeah,
have a
what's
pool.
that
with
movie?
Florence Pugh and Harry Styles? Isn't that kind of where they have
Don't
that?
Worry,
it's
Darling?
Like, yeah, there's kind of like a weird dystopian.
Yeah.
Horrible movie.
I haven't seen it. Don't spoil it.
What do you think,
Really?
Liza? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What did you think?
I didn't really think much of it.
See,
I
that's
like
why I think it's a
seeing
horrible
Harry
movie.
Styles and Florence Pugh because I
Yeah.
think they're both so
Yeah.
beautiful. That's why.
Yeah.
I love
Fair.
watching
Would watch
it.
again, but like,
I love
don't
watching
know.
it just for Harry Styles, like not knowing whether he should use a British accent or an American accent the entire time.
True.
what's that war movie?
And then
he's in?
his interview
Dunkirk?
afterwards.
Yeah.
He's
No,
in
that's
Dunkirk.
Jonas
Dunkirk?
Brothers.
Dunkirk?
Jonas Brothers.
Nah,
It's
Harry
Nick
Styles can
Jonas was
die.
in
I don't
Dunkirk.
care.
I think he was. But anyways,
I feel
the
like you're right.
I thought that movie. We're getting off topic. I like where it's going. That movie the idea was great. The trailer I thought was really good, and then I also thought visually that the movie was kind of cool from when I saw it. I never watched it full the way through.
Dunkirk?
No.
Don't worry, darling.
Preston, can you Google was
Darling.
Harry Styles in Dunkirk?
He was? Damn, I'm
even
so
know that.
sorry. I did not know that.
Did he play an extra?
A
was
small part.
Jonas
No,
in it?
he
Was
had
that a
lines.
different? Was that Midway or something
He
like
was
that?
legit the main character.
Harry Styles was?
Yeah, well, he was like, basically the main character. but like he only had like 2 or 3 lines, which is what made his acting great. Right? You have to actually tell.
I think I need to rewatch
Well,
it.
and the funny part was that Preston, we know Dunkirk pretty damn well because I did a project on Dunkirk our freshman year, and it was like writing a paper on the who composed it again, the piece I gave, yeah, Hans Zimmer, thank you. Hans Zimmer did the whole soundtrack for it, and it was really good. I think it won some awards, at least it should have been, but it was really good. And I was writing a paper for Dr. Ruth Lynn about it,
That's
and I
cool.
kept watching the scenes over and over, and Preston also was in the same FTS first term seminar, and then we did it. But I said, yeah, but we did it. Yeah. But he understood. But the thing is that Harry Styles movie, I thought visually, camera wise, everything else, like the aspect ratio, looking at what you're seeing in an image, it was pretty. I almost made it better than what the story was. I'd say that.
Yeah, that
like
sucks though.
It's kind of like an
I want to
art.
watch it.
it does,
again
it
now.
does,
'Cause,
because
like,
imagine like
would
all the
watch
work
it.
that went into
Yeah,
it.
you could have a movie with a great script and a great story, and it could just look like shit, and it would still be good.
That would be better. But if you have
Yeah.
a great movie that looks good, but if it has a shit script, it's
it's-
worse.
It's more visually appealing. Like you can like
Like Avatar.
you can be like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
cool, and like maybe I just don't understand. But if it looks shit and it's bad, then it's just
It's kind of like if you like
Yep.
listen to the music for the beat or the lyrics.
Yep.
It's kind of like that vibe. That's what John's kind of getting at.
Oh,
like,
yep.
Do you watch it
There's
for
two
the picture, or do
different
you watch
things,
it for
yep.
like the message that this movie's trying to like pass?
Like honestly, some
I think I
rap.
watch it for the picture.
Yeah, that
I
makes
think I
sense.
do
I don't
too.
know.
No, I agree with you. I think there's some movies where you know that you're watching, like if I know who's on it, who's producing and whatever, and I can see the darkness of it and whatnot. I know I'm going to watch it for the photo, even if it's not even good. Sorry, film. Even if it's not good, then I'm going to be still okay with it. I can't think of a movie right now off the top of my head that could be good, like Star Trek Into Darkness, or what? Do you remember that
Oh,
one?
it was a great movie.
I think it was a great movie, but it was just kind of like, Benedict Cumberbatch is in it, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
everything else. But I think those Star Trek movies, the one before, their picture's great. I'm sorry, I'm
I
going.
just love
Liza's gone. She's
I
just
love-
like,
I have no idea. I've
Chris
never
Pine.
seen it.
Chris Pine's in there.
Yeah, Chris Pine's
Absolute
Benedict
legend.
is in there too, though.
Yep, he's
Yeah.
in the second one. He plays.
Yeah.
I'm also not a huge movie
he
person,
plays
though, but
Khan.
never
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah, can't. But I thought those movies sometimes the story is lacking, but how everything was. What's that one? Where movies are more like this?
What?
Widescreen.
Is it just called widescreen?
Yeah.
Like if
Like how you can watch it in widescreen or like.
Well, no, there's
a
like,
DVD.
there's
Standard
sometimes,
definition.
Sometimes, like if in Marvel, it's like a full picture, but then some movies it's a little more
I don't know
wide.
what that's called. Like there's the 16:9, and then there's
Yeah.
the
Where there's a little
stretch.
black bar on the top.
Yes, it just starts
Like-
and it's
Yeah.
almost smooth though. I know, and that's what they kind of shot a lot.
think
of
it's
that stuff
widescreen,
in.
honestly,
Yeah, it
yeah.
just probably is, and I thought that made up for a lot of the bullshit that they did.
Yeah.
In the,
Well, that movie has some like crazy like big moments. that I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's cool. Like I'll give it a pass.
yeah, they had a. Actually, funny story. I liked that second movie, Star Trek, so much that I had to learn the piano piece for it. I don't know. Someone probably heard me. I think Preston actually heard me because that was during the time where Preston was learning his own song on piano. I don't remember what it was. It was a Joji song, I think, wasn't it? Or
Oh, what is that Joji song? It's like Dancing in the Dark.
Dancing in the Dark. I think it's
Something
got
like
to be that.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was
you
like
and me, we'd have our little
Was it
go to the music.
Was it like the popular one?
Yeah, what's that one called?
Yeah, it's something.
Slow Dancing in the Dark. That's what
yeah,
it's called.
Something
yeah,
dance.
it
Slow
was.
Dance. Yeah.
It was good.
And we'd have our little music time. We'd both go to our practice room. We'd
Yeah.
just play piano, and then we'd come out. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
And then I'd still win in Yumika's class.
That pissed. Because she knew we were more capable, right?
Yep.
I
She didn't
knew.
expect shit
Yeah.
from me, and I loved it.
Karma really told it to me later in that time frame. But I remember like learning that music, and I thought that music was great. I don't know who did that music. Was that also Hans Zimmer?
Yep.
Probably.
It was.
Was it actually
Yeah.
for number 2? God, he's
Actually,
funky.
it might have been, what's his name? Is it Michael Giacchino? Something like that?
Oh, you might be right.
I think, yep.
Yeah, he's pretty good. What other films has he done?
I think he made the music for Up.
Yeah.
Hey,
I can
great.
relate to
But you did one more though. There's one more.
Yeah, I don't know. He's done a few things.
He's done Ratatouille, he's done Up, he's done Incredibles, he's done Coco, Star Trek,
Yeah.
Inside
Yeah.
Out,
Incredibles,
Cars
Pixar
2,
greatest
guy.
movie of all time.
Jurassic World, Dominion. Like,
Oh,
he's just done,
Jurassic World.
done so many. Spider-Man: Homecoming, Zootopia.
Oh my
Zootopia.
god.
I could talk about Zootopia.
He's
Great
nuts.
movie.
Yeah, let's talk about Zootopia.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
got to be.
The Liza's
That's up the.
Yeah.
That's up the
Incredibles.
sociology.
Incredible.
We already
Food
talked
chain.
about sociology when I talked about the excerpts.
Yeah, we're talking about Zootopia now.
Oh,
Zootopia.
society.
Now you going in
Society.
Incredibles. I want to know your
Yeah.
angle.
I
There's
just
different
really enjoy
angles.
The Incredibles. Like here's my thing. Here's how you know I'm like don't have like the creative brain that you all have. When I like a movie, I
Yeah.
just like a movie.
That's fair.
Like I
Well,
don't
I
like
like a movie,
like
yeah,
yeah, I
that's
think the
alright.
music is great, but like I don't have that like
Yeah,
you
we're
guys, like,
fuckers.
take a music
no,
theory,
no.
yeah.
Yeah, but we're
like
fuckers
I'm not like
though
that. I just like
sometimes, yeah.
movies. I like The Incredibles. It's nostalgic for me. Like I feel like I'd always watch it growing up with my family.
Yep, same. I think
I just like it. I don't know. I like the story. I like the first one.
I feel like
it's
I
good.
like films like that when they're not advanced enough to where there's this crazy like cartoon like
Yeah,
animation stuff.
it's not too much.
It's still shit, but it's good enough to where it's like good.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's shit
Like
though.
no,
honestly.
like I don't mean it like that, but like it's
Yeah, I
not
know
like
what you
the
mean.
new school
Yeah.
like
Yes.
everything's like glistening and like
Yes.
perfect and crazy.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like Big
actual,
Hero
like,
6.
It's like actual animation, like somebody might have drawn it.
Yeah.
Toy Story. Love.
And so the weirdest thing is, so I got on the side of TikTok the other day where it's like where you watch a Pixar movie, you notice something in that Pixar movie, and that correlates to something else
Yep.
in that Pixar movie, and it always has
Oh,
that
yeah,
same
yeah.
like sound behind it. I gotta show you one of them, but it's all like honestly, all of it correlates to Monsters Inc.
Yep.
Almost all the time.
Is it like the
They're
thing where it's
all the
like
little
they're all on the
Monsters,
same timeline, or is it different where there's like
Yeah.
little objects?
I think it's all the different
Like the
doors.
brave, like the brave witch is Boo. You ever heard that theory?
No.
See exactly. So I feel like we might have even talked about this on podcasts before, but there was an Incredibles one where there was a certain. It's small, like Wall-E. I think there's
Yes.
one where it's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
mall in Wall-E was at Interstate Battery or something,
Yep.
and that was also the batteries that. Not
I did see
Interstate,
that one.
but it was the batteries in like Buzz
In
Lightyear.
Buzz, yes.
So it's like that, but the small thinking of like, oh, we're gonna correlate that would be horrible. I'd be so stressed out about like what's the right moment to put in something small.
genius,
Like
though.
I know it is, right?
It's so good.
And
So
now it's all
good.
Disney, right? Disney owns Pixar. Right?
I don't remember
know.
when
Disney
Disney
owns
first got Pixar.
Everyone.
Like
Let's talk about that.
I felt like I was surprised when I saw that like Pixar was owned by Disney, but it was like years after they actually bought them. Like I feel like it's been a company that's been part of Disney for a long time, but it's like nobody knew.
Wasn't that like 2017? Am I saying that wrong?
I thought it was earlier than that.
Really? I'll look it up.
I don't know. I definitely know that Disney is. I don't. Oftentimes, I'll say this. Sad. What do you call it? Confession. Sad confession. I don't ever go on actually Disney Plus or whatnot. I never go on Disney Plus.
Never going Disney?
Same.
And like, and they put so much money in the streaming service. They put whatever. I know there's Star Wars shows on that, which I'll solely go on that whatever streaming service just to watch Star Wars shows. But I never go on there to be like, oh, what to watch? Disney Plus might be the last one. It's 1:30
Yeah,
at
that's
night.
true.
You're like,
Yeah.
all right, screw it. This is the last streaming service I got in the bank. And I
That-
feel like they're losing right now, though. They're only winning because it's more for kids, maybe. Maybe that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like for Disney, like their main draw isn't even like the new stuff that they're creating. Like the main draw to owning Disney Plus is to just having access to all the Disney movies.
Yeah.
Like they just have the vault
Okay.
yeah.
of stuff that it's like, oh, I want to watch this movie, but like half the movies they've stopped like making disc copies and stuff, and you can only get it through like it's either really expensive or you have to get it through Disney Plus.
I mean,
So I
that's
feel
what
like
I was
that's
If you're a
their
Disney
main
movie
thing.
person.
It's like, well, everything else is doing TV shows. Like, we got Outer
Yeah.
Banks on Netflix. Everyone has their TV show thing that's going on. And Disney is what you log into when you are thinking of the disc case that was on the shelf when you were a
Yes.
kid.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to watch Lady and the Tramp. Or
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch, or like one
The
of the
VCR,
oldies that
yeah.
you're not going to find anywhere else, but that's where they are.
And some of the TV shows, like Marvel, Marvel is on there, and that's
Mhm.
the easy way to watch it. And the funny thing was, I didn't realize, so through my phone or Verizon, whatever plan my dad has, you get Disney Plus and then also ESPN Plus or ESPN.
Yeah, that's
or
the new
whatnot.
deal.
And so then,
I think
like,
you can get Hulu too.
yeah, you get Hulu too. So it's like, which is nice, and sad to say that like Megan and I have that HBO Paramount. It just is like what to what
Everything.
You're
to me,
spending
what
$100
You
on
need
all
everything.
these
No,
movie
it's not
services.
though. It's like Peacock and Paramount Plus and a couple of other. It's $2 a month, $3 a month.
Oh, really?
How are
Yeah.
you getting these deals? Where are you getting this
I
from?
think
Ace Hardware,
I
baby.
Yeah, that's Ace.
How much
Like,
does Netflix cost a month?
Netflix is
Thir-
a lot more.
12?
It depends on if you're doing like the single user, like to
Single
where
device?
if you have two users and they're both watching at the same time, you can't do it.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Because I know my family has like, it was less expensive, and then everyone was watching Netflix
So
at the
then
same
they
time, so they
upgraded?
just upgraded up.
Same.
Yeah.
Yes, I
But-
get it. And now we can all watch at the same
I think
time.
that's
Yeah.
what my dad did.
Until they start limiting it to one IP address.
Yeah.
Now they will. That's just kind of gnarly.
I feel like they won't. I
They
feel like they're
won't.
going to cancel it now.
They have to because the
That's
backlash was
bad.
crazy. It was just as like, that's the one thing was just is like, if you want to watch a specific TV show, you have to sometimes get the streaming service
Yeah.
for it.
Mhm.
For example, if I'm watching Yellowstone, I go to Paramount Plus.
Yep.
But if I want to watch a new season, or no, sorry, Yellowstone's
Yes.
premiered on Paramount Plus, but I can't watch it actually on there. I have to go to Peacock. And
Oh,
so
that's
then
weird.
the new season that came out, I can't watch it anywhere, so I streamed it on YouTube for $2 an episode, which is like at some point, if there is and that's what Megan and I kind of realized is just is like, is it worth a subscription, or is it worth me paying $1.99 for a $10 episode season
Mm-hmm.
and watching that and just having it there, or streaming and when you can watch it whenever, instead of being like.
Yeah.
And we found out that might be just more cost effective
You
than
get
just
to
having
keep
it
it
on.
if you like buy an episode. It's
Oh,
not like you
yeah.
have like 24 hours to watch it.
Yeah, it's you keep it, and so it's like I have
That
a
makes
bunch
sense.
of
I think that's
episodes.
smart. Like I've never thought of that.
I don't know. I've done that, and it seems pretty productive in the way of where it's like I won't have this streaming where I have to like cancel later on, but do I actually want to keep it for other movies or whatnot?
I think you should get cable. Just,
Yeah,
Just
go
on
back.
demand it. Get it scheduled out. Every Friday,
I miss
watch
on
your
demand.
Please
your,
get cable. That's the
your
only way I'll have a
Yellowstone
job.
subscription. You're like, oh, honey, Yellowstone was recorded tonight. Let's watch it back.
No.
Yeah.
We have direct. We have
You got
direct
your TiVo.
stream, and that, like the times we actually watch it is maybe in the morning as background. She enjoys freaking Bachelor. With that also blows my mind. The Bachelor is even a TV show that I just don't even understand that.
John,
But
we watch Love Island.
yeah, that makes more sense to me.
It does
We-
make more
I
sense.
feel like The Bachelor used to be better.
Yep, and I also agree with that because I used to watch it in high school a lot.
Me too.
What was better about it?
I
It-
just thought it was more interesting.
It was more
Just
like
I feel like now they're all just like
they're just
annoying
fake.
influencers, but they
Yeah.
always are.
That's how I felt about Love Island. Like season 1, like they were just showing raw sex on the screen. Like they were just
Yeah.
like it was just more raw and like less produced. So like it was just shittier, but it was also better, you know.
Yep.
And now we just finished Love Island season 4, which I do think was the greatest season yet.
Was I on? Did I watch
I thought
that?
this
I
was
watched
season-
like some of it. But,
Was this? Oh yeah, this is 4, not 3.
yeah, yeah.
Who won?
Who did win?
Jack and
Jack and
Yeah.
Danny.
Jack and Danny
Yeah,
They broke up 9 months later.
yeah, literally.
broke up 9 months later, and 9
I
months
feel
later
like
he
did
had a kid.
I maybe watched some of those with
No,
you
you did
guys.
because
Yep.
I remember
Was
when
that like when John still lived here? You would watch
Yeah.
that sometimes.
yeah.
Okay.
I remember I watched that, and I have always problem with that is that I knew Jack and Danny won probably about like 20
Just because you
episodes
always
in.
look it up. We're always on like the 9th episode,
Yeah.
and John's like, I'm gonna look up who wins, and I
Yeah.
said, no, don't do it, and he's like, I know who wins.
And then it
Makes
was episode 20.
it a little more
where you're like,
interesting though. Sometimes for
All
me,
right,
it
Jack
just
and
is
Danny
like
win.
kind of like that. In that show,
Yeah, 'cause
it
then you
doesn't
watch it
matter.
knowing.
You're watching it for the drama.
For John, it's not
Oh,
about
yeah.
the destination; it's about how they get there.
Yeah, literally. But the weirdest thing is that The Bachelor, when I was watching it, maybe it was because I was younger or whatnot, but it seemed like right now, like all the participants are like they care, but it's almost in a cringy care. And so like they know that once they're off the show, they already gained how many followers, right? Do you think
Yep.
that way? Like where like
Can you
the
repeat
girls?
it one more time?
No,
just tell me. Do you mean like they're desperate, or do you?
No,
like, what?
I just think that
I
they
need you to
seem
just back it up.
no, they seem genuine on the show where like, oh, I didn't get that one-on-one like recently in this
Yep.
Bachelor. Where it's like he was sick or something like that, and they're like, "Oh my God, oh he had COVID." And they're
Oh yeah,
they're
that's why he was
down
on the video screen.
Yeah,
I haven't watched the season, but I saw it on TikTok.
yeah, something like that. And then it's just is like all of them are so heartfelt, but it just seems non-genuine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's also like they know that after that, like all these, to be honest with you, every single one, even if it's the Bachelor, the Bachelorette, all these people will have no problem finding someone in the real world. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
so that's why I always come back to the question. I get lured in the drama, and I'm like, why are you on the show? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, you could go to a bar, come on tap, and you get a sugar daddy for as much as whatever. You know what I mean?
Como tap.
Like, that's, like, I just don't get it. Like, how's
They're
it-
looking for love.
Oh my God!
Like,
So
I
then
don't
he's talking to
It's
all these
there for
other
the money.
girls and
They're
Yeah,
there
there's
for the
like
money.
30 of them.
yeah, in front of them. I was like,
Yeah.
isn't that like how have they not gotten a lawsuit? Preston, you should see if there's a lawsuit against The Bachelor. Like,
Wait,
something
why
like
would they
that.
get in trouble for that?
I don't know. I'm not saying that. It's just to be like the mental.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that's
mean
gotta
just
be hard. I
demolition,
would struggle with that.
just-
I would
I feel
struggle
like
with that.
Love Island or The Bachelor, any relationship that happens because of a TV show
Yeah.
is just fucked up. Like, how do
Hey.
you talk to each other?
There's
And like
some
competing with
Love
others,
Island.
Your friends
competing
are
with
like,
others
yeah.
over the
oh,
same
where did
person.
you meet? On The Bachelor, everyone's like,
Yeah. Like
okay.
what?
Love Island.
What?
Love Island is actually. I
not
feel like
real.
Love Island's a little more genuine.
I don't know. I feel
Do you
like
think
it
it's
also
more? Do you
takes
think
a
it's
toll.
actually more genuine, or do you just think because there's more coupling and it's less on one person?
I think it's more coupling.
I think it.
I
Yeah,
think they
it's
develop
probably,
relationships more.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
led to more
They're just in there.
like couples
Yeah.
that actually
it's less
exist.
competition.
Because like, I feel like that's also another part of The Bachelor now. It's like you go on The Bachelor, and even if you win, you're not actually expecting to be with that
But
person.
Yeah.
but Bachelor in Paradise is kind of like Love Island.
Yep.
I have
I
no
think,
clue.
right?
Any
They
clue.
couple
Yeah, it
up,
is,
they go
yeah.
to the beach.
Well, there's one couple. What was that couple, Preston? It was the season where he was kind of a goofy guy. and-
Season 2, the goofballs.
Yeah, well, the goofball and the other
Goofballs.
guy they won of Love Island. He was kind of like quirky. He was a carpenter. He
Oh,
had
Love
blonde
Island.
hair. That was Love
Carpenter.
Island.
Season 2. Season 2 was when the real goofballs won.
Well, anyway, I don't remember. Preston's looking up now, but I know for a fact that like those seasons, like those people are still together. Some of them even couples that lost, like third place, they still were together. We're talking about Love Island UK, but
I like that more than The Bachelor.
and The Bachelor I used to like back in the day because it was the first show kind of like
Yeah.
that way I watched. Like I know other
Yeah.
people are like it's either Bachelor or Big Brother. Was that what it's called?
Yeah, Big Brother was the other.
I was not a
one.
Big Brother person.
I wasn't either, but some people are just
My
like
family
down
was
here, Big
always
Brother.
the. We had Bachelor going because my sister Liz and my mom loved it, and then they would also watch Grey's Anatomy a lot.
Oh,
Otherwise, I think like the show that like all of us would watch, it would always be like Survivor or Amazing Race.
Those are
And I
two
feel
good
like those
ones.
were all of the family
I love
shows.
Survivor.
So there was a period where Preston watched a whole season of it and got into it.
Of Survivor?
Yeah.
What season was it?
I think it was season 28. It was the only one they had on Netflix at the time.
Kagayan?
I don't know.
With
but-
Tony, the bald guy,
Yep.
and the arm tattoo?
Yep. Yep.
The cop.
He won it.
Oh,
You just spoiled Tyler and I were watching it.
I've never watched it.
you
Like
guys
I've watched like the old seasons.
That's
All right, well Tony wins,
I mean,
and
come on, he's playing it like a dog, bro.
he is, and
Yeah,
I
we're
hate
not
it.
that far
It's
into it,
so
though.
obvious when you watch it. You're like, how like none of the people are like suspect.
I'm like, no, it's okay.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
like really into
Who
Survivor
would've
though. Like, let me know
known?
if you want to
Like,
talk.
he's
about it.
definitely-
That's the one season out of how many that they're watching.
Like I can tell like who's gonna be like the big contenders, but
Yeah.
with him, I'm just like he's obviously like your biggest threat to winning, and they never choose to vote him off. Like nobody's like coming after this guy. He's just.
I
safe.
think Survivor Cagayan is a great first season to watch if you really want to get into it.
That's the next watch.
So
That's
That-
what I just have to say in response to that.
no, that's interesting because when I was thinking about it, like, oh, you're gonna vote them off. Like obviously they're gonna look like they're gonna win. Recently, I feel like in the past of sports and everything else, oh, this is scripted, right?
Yeah.
My brain is so much now watching a show of like a live. What do you call that? A live show like that, like
Reality show?
Yeah, a live reality show that like it's actually just it's all scripted whatsoever. Like my eyes
like
were
all
kind
the
of
singing shows.
yeah,
American Idol, X Factor.
yeah, exactly.
America's Got Talent.
Like I did.
Singer? No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, probably even Mass Singer.
Voice.
I hate that show. I hate
Never
Mass
watched
Singer.
it.
I never
Never
knew
will.
though.
What do you
I-
say? The Boys?
The Voice.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you said The Boys. I was like,
I
that's
love
just
the
a TV
voice,
show.
but it's just
Voice is
like,
good.
is it really random now? Like I question
Yeah.
all of that. Like that's
No.
where it just is like, is The Bachelor really random? Is like these America Warrior? What's that one?
American
American
Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, American Ninja
Just
Warrior.
watch
Is that really? Is that all just scripted, or is that just? Which I just think that's just the whole new thing now.
I was
is
going to say,
where-
so you think it used to not be scripted?
I don't know. Maybe
I
I was just too
completely
naive.
agree with what you're saying, though.
Maybe I was just too naive to
get
realize it, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and I feel like there's a chance that some of them
Let's watch
actually
old
aren't.
seasons.
And it's just like, it's just the expectation that it's scripted. Like, I mean, it's to the point where people are saying, like, major sports are scripted, which would be just insane to actually do. Like, they can be the narratives can kind of be
Tweaked.
written a little bit. But it's like, for it to be all scripted, it would have to be so thought out, and it would have to be, like, one of the biggest plans to ever exist. So, I mean, like, some of the shows I feel like aren't, like,
I feel
to
like-
the same extent.
Just when the production value goes up and they have more cameras and nicer stuff, it just looks nicer, so it looks less raw. Like Survivor used to
Yes.
be like grain. Like every once in a while, there's like grainy, like someone's like
Yes.
sneaking around or something, and the cameraman's like just all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
You can't see anything. So
Yeah.
you're like, oh, it's great.
Old
Yeah.
school, it's called
But
old
now,
school.
now everything's like perfect and like
Yes.
clean
Yeah.
and like great.
And oh god, I can't think of the show that I was thinking of.
The Price is Right.
No, I
Deal or
had
No Deal?
I had an idea in my head
Wheel of
that
Fortune.
I wanted to
Who
talk
Wants to Be a
about.
Millionaire?
Tyler, what you were talking about before?
I don't know.
American Ninja Warrior.
What's that?
Star
what
Trek.
was that
You're
TV
talking about The
show
Voice?
with
Star Trek.
that TV
Deer.
show with all the gold briefcases?
That's
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal.
Deal
Yeah.
or No Deal, yeah.
They were silver briefcases, though.
Yep.
Did I say gold
Oh.
briefcases?
You did
With
say
all
I
gold.
the
meant
with all
gold.
the
It wasn't the
models.
gold in it, or was it
extra.
just money?
It
Yeah.
was
money.
just
It's
the
money.
numbers, but they were like written in gold.
It's like what you wanted.
Okay.
I remember I was going to talk about. It was Food Network.
Hmm?
So that's so honestly.
When did I
so,
talk about Food Network?
No, it's because I was thinking of this. It was just there's a lot of things on Food Network, which is a new channel that I enjoy watching in the background. There's always something cooking. You're always learning something or
a good one.
whatnot. So in Food Network, they have a Tournament of Champions, which is a new show with Guy Fieri, right? Fieri,
Guy Fieri.
Furry,
Fury.
Guy
Spiky.
Furry.
Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri
boy.
narrates it practically, but it's like a whole entire tournament where there's like these chefs are on there, and then they face each other, and it's a bracket, and then whoever wins based on the judges, then they move on. Or it's like the other show, like can they beat Bobby Flay, or you know, Chopped or whatnot. So all
Yeah.
these shows, and then I kind of thought, I was like, I love watching these shows, seeing what they work with, see what they're changing and what, just for my own cooking. And then one day, it might have been a month ago, I just kind of sat there, I was like, this might just be all scripted. I was like, all these stuff, I was just like, okay, this is you're going to make this. And the other guy's going to make this. And then these judges, you know what I mean? Some of these judges.
Do you think it is?
And then it just ruins the fun of it.
I know. That's
think it
ruined
is?
it. It's like it's a
No.
horrible realization that might be not.
Because it's a competition, isn't it?
I feel like a lot of the
but it's probably
competitions
not
aren't.
true.
Like, I feel like the scripting goes so far as, like, who they choose to be on there.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe the challenges that they give them, they're like, oh, well, it'd be funny if we gave this challenge because this person has literally no clue.
Just a
Like they told us in the
barbecuer
questionnaire
and-
that, like that drinkology one that we watched,
Oh, I
mixology
liked
one.
that one on Netflix. It was like
I thought that was
Masters of
good.
Mixology.
Yeah.
or
But it's like,
something.
yeah,
I
but it's
kinda
like
liked it.
they had all these professional
weird, though. It
bartenders,
was, like,
and then they were
awkward.
like, all right, let's throw this influencer on there that doesn't actually make drinks at a bar or anything, and it'd just be kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like they kind of like intuitively, like they choose to put some people
Yeah.
on that are just not gonna.
Well, Survivor, not to bring it back. In Survivor, they're kind of like, I don't know what it's called. You guys would maybe know the word because I feel like you know, like, films. Like
Casting?
there's a mom. There's
Couch?
always like, there's like a mom figure. There's always like a big, strong man figure. There's always like a hero. Is it like
I
an
mean,
archetype?
Like a
Do you know what I'm?
typecast, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
kind
they
of.
always have to have those type of people on
Yeah,
the season.
yes. That's kind of like what they do in Survivor. And I feel like that makes me think of like the scriptedness of it. Like they kind of keep that.
So I looked up if Beat Bobby Flay was real, just because that was the only Food Network show I could think of. And some Reddit poster basically said, I went to like a filming of Beat Bobby Flay. I paid $68 just to attend. It was 4.5 hours. They said that it actually is completely real. The times on the clock are completely real. Like it's cooked and prepared in those like 30 minutes, whatever. They said the only weird part was that during like the conversational segments, like where the judges are like, oh, I don't know if he's gonna cook it right, or they're like filming that. They said there's like long weird pauses for editing purposes, maybe. Like they'll like film that little segment, pause, and then get back to something. So I don't know.
Makes sense.
And I think that's just and I agree with that. That's actually a relief, honestly, because it's like that burden of like realization where you see something, you can never see it back.
Yeah.
And it was just as kind of like a feeling, and it's like then you're always questioning, and then you kind of think about the questioning instead of just enjoying the show. Where the Bobby Flay show was like, here's a chef, and you compete against him, and then here's another chef, but he's a renowned chef, and can you beat him at all, or what can he do? And I think that's just the way that, like, remember watching Iron Chef America?
I was just trying to think of what the name was.
That was a goated show, and that was awesome when I was a younger kid, and you watched it. The editing, like switching back and forth, whatever. It was just horribly edited, but it was just a really fun show. Then they came out with another season recently. Was not this summer, but maybe it was this last summer, and I watched that season too, and it was good. I love that show, and that seemed pretty real. And authentic, and
I just looked up because you were mentioning that.
Yeah.
An Iron Chef, they said, is actually super fake.
Is it
They
really?
said that the chefs get to choose their ingredients that they want. The matchups that they put up against each other are all rigged. Like
Oh,
they
fuck it. You ruined my childhood.
Was
they
it
set up
Do
the
you-
matchups.
impressive? Does it say like when that started? Do you think that
I don't know. I just know that the
recently?
USA
maybe?
version is super fake, but apparently the Japanese version that this show is based on.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah.
I can do that. I think another show that like feels like it'd be super fake. It's another one of those talent shows. Have you ever heard of Fool Us, the Penn and Teller show?
Yeah.
It's like the magician one where it's just like, show us your trick or do a little magic act, and if we can't figure it out, then I think that's like another one that's probably pretty like unscripted. Like it's probably one of the only talent shows that are,
Well, that one's
because
just.
I feel like those two just get off on it and just love it.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, American Idol has to be unscripted, right?
I think American Idol.
I think it's a
Right?
little
'Cause there's
I
scripted.
so
think
many
it's a little
people.
scripted.
So many people are in the line, and they go through so many people, and
Like they
Yeah.
probably go through all the people, but they know they're not like 90% of people have 0% chance.
I
It's
think
like
some
you
people
have
are recruited.
So
Yeah.
I had
Some people
I
are.
knew a girl that
Same with
auditioned
Survivor.
on American Idol from Coon Rapids, and there's like a vetting process, right? Like they sit you down, they like make sure you're not a fucking psycho, and then
Yeah.
they hear you sing, and then you
Unless
move
you're the
on
right
to like
type.
whatever. But it actually takes like 3 or 4 rounds to actually get to the starting
Yeah.
auditions, where like
Really?
people are
I know
like,
that.
look at this crowd in Nashville. Well, actually, those people have already gone through 3 rounds of vetting and whatever, so they're just there to.
That's a lot.
And they let some shitty people through.
Yeah.
Just so they
For
can
the
all be
bit.
like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah.
You suck.
For the entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And man, that is intriguing, and that's one talent though. Singing is that one talent where you can do that. Everyone can do it, potentially, you never can sing mediocrely to whatever, but how do you rank it? And that whoever came up with the first singing show, that would be intriguing to know what the first like singing competition show was, because they really hit something there, because there's so many different people. Like UK has it. I see UK Voice all the time on my TikTok.
Oh yeah, the
like
Voice is everywhere. Australia Voice, Germany Voice.
The
I
Voice
feel like
is
those.
not, like who's the
I like The
producer of
Voice
The
when it
Voice?
just started.
I agree.
I feel
But
like
now,
those
no.
are probably more like show wise, like seasonal show wise. I feel like those were probably pretty early on, but you know the European singing competition, Eurovision.
Yeah.
I feel like that might
God,
they
of
might
course he
have that
knows
might
it.
have existed first, and somebody's like, well, what if we make a TV show out of this?
Well, here's the thing though. It's like The Voice was great because like the way that it was set up was that the judges interacted with each other, and everyone had like, you know, Adam Levine, Blake Sheldon,
Christina
Yeah.
Aguilera.
and then
Yeah.
who was the other one? John Legend or
I thought it was like
there
CeeLo
somebody
Green
bef-
at first.
CeeLo Green. Yeah.
It was.
Wasn't he like one of the original?
Yeah.
And they would all talk. They had fun. Then they had the one-on-ones, and they had the battle, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff. Where, like
was
good
interesting.
music has been produced of like these collabs or these people coming through that. But now it just seems like when I watch that show, and I was watching a TikTok of the new The Voice just recently. Like, who needs that? I was like, all you need to do is buy a decent camera, go on TikTok or like some other streaming service instead of dealing with all that other stress of going there, and you can still make it as your own. Like, who was the other guy?
I feel like I probably know more like artists that came from like TikTok or like even uploading stuff to YouTube than I know people that have come from these singing shows now.
Yeah. Jake, what's his name? Jake, JVK, Golden Hour.
Yeah, I think his name's literally just Jake.
Yeah.
Jake?
His name Jake. He created a song. He did it on TikTok, and then later that year, he was singing at the New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve celebration on whatever popular TV show.
You guys want to guess
It's
when
the rise of
first
social media
when the first singing competition show was?
in the United States.
Yep, held in the United States,
Competition?
on air, on TV, competition singing.
American Idol 2005.
I was gonna say
1973.
2004.
I'm saying 73. It's got to be an old one.
Yeah,
gonna go
it actually
19
might be
It's
something
like the experimental 70s.
1947.
Originally thinking like American Bandstand, like the 50s, like they'd have bands on and
Like Duke.
But
all
you
the
can't have a
teenagers would be
competition
dancing,
show.
but I don't
Duke.
think that was a competition. So I have
What is
no
it?
idea.
So you guys are gonna be really surprised, and actually Liza was the closest. It was called the Original Amateur Hour, and it debuted in 1948.
I was 1 year
It
off.
basically had like the same setup. People come and like audition in front of judges. The finale was held in Madison Square Garden, and the award was like $1,500, which I don't know, probably was a lot
What's
at the
that
time.
now?
An interesting fact is that Elvis actually auditioned for the show, but didn't make the cut.
That is
funny.
I
gnarly.
learned about Elvis in my J-term class. I really didn't know much about Elvis before that class. He was a big deal. Did you know
Yeah, he
that?
was.
The Elvis
had
movie
crazy influence.
exposed me to
I
just
didn't know
go on the
that.
deep dark web.
Oh.
And go in. And
I haven't seen it.
Your dark webbing
Elvis,
Elvis
is just
or what?
yeah. What?
No, I'm sorry. I just meant
Like
as
down
in,
the
like,
depths of
ether.
Elvis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just understand.
it's like-
I'm sorry, Tyler.
No,
You
I was
can
gonna
go.
say I feel like that movie did a really good job of like showing kind of the influence that he had, like the part where he's like, you know, us being here, we kind of do have like, because he was what, like 5 miles away from where JFK was shot, so they
Yeah.
had like that scene in there about like how he actually had like some influence on that, like that he had that cultural impact. But I feel like it kind of missed out on some of the aspects where he's a little shady, you know. Maybe meeting his future wife when
Yeah.
she was 14 and he was 19 in the army or whatever.
Yeah. It-
Some little bits like that.
There was what was that once? There's a scene where they want him to do a Christmas special, and then
Oh
he
yeah, it was
decides
like
to
a
do-
big TV or
It's 'cause
radio.
Martin Luther King died, wasn't it?
What? I don't think it was because of the TV special that happened.
Well, I don't.
Or I don't think
remember.
that's what.
No,
was the
but I
reason that he
remember
had
like it was some response to like a
I think
like
it was
a death or something that happened, and then he sang a song that instead of what the producers wanted him to sing in the Christmas special, he sang a song of practically like enduring or like strength or something like that. And I don't know where I saw that at. It was on TikTok probably, but I'm pretty sure that was Elvis. But
yeah, I remember.
When did
It was,
Elvis die?
73.
Yeah, something like that.
He died August 16th, 1977.
Ooh,
Okay.
Close. In a bathtub.
Have you seen that that video of him singing? I don't even remember
toilet.
what song it was, but like the his like last performance. Have you ever?
piano?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great clip.
Porcelain.
Yep. Porcelain throne.
Damn.
That's
Which is
horrible.
Well, have you seen? So his daughter also caught a lot of traction.
Didn't she just die?
Yes, I think
Like
so.
recently, in
Like it-
January.
What was her
I
name?
Can
thought it
you
was
look
December,
up-
but I think you're
Okay.
right though. I think you are right.
She was married to
January.
Michael Jackson for a little bit.
Yep,
Yep,
probably.
she died January 12th, 2023.
God, you're good, Liza.
Liza,
Damn,
Liza's right again.
damn.
Get
Was
this
she
girl to
married to
trivia
Michael
night.
Jackson? How long was she married? 4 months? 7 days?
We should put you on Jeopardy.
You know,
No.
that really got me thinking
Different
because
wheelhouse.
sometimes my parents sometimes watch Jeopardy. I watch sometimes Jeopardy.
I
just in the
missed
background.
Jeopardy when we watched it junior year.
Yeah, I know, literally, and that's what I was trying to remember. Thank you for bringing that back. I was like, where did we watch Jeopardy like crazy? That would be such a fun show to be on. I feel like I feel like I would think that would do a lot better than I would actually would do.
You just get
Yeah.
fucked.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
No,
You
yeah.
just cancel out. And you're like, wait, I'm supposed to buzz it? I'm supposed to buzz in?
You know what the worst part was? Similar to that topic was that when I was sitting there, it was about. Oh, when was it? I actually don't remember when it was, but it was just the other day. It was on my. So Megan works nowadays hardware as well,
Oh, let's go.
and well, you know why, but
She saved you from the peanuts?
she did actually.
I heard about that.
Yeah. But anyway, so there was a like whatever, she couldn't go on break or whatever, so then I went on break or whatever for lunch. And so then my lunch breaks, like if Megan's not there or whatnot, consist of about a 20-minute video, perfectly timed. And it's normally a Calc 2 to Calc 1 video. Going
Wait,
into
why is it
trigonometry.
backwards? Calc 2 to Calc 1?
Well, it just depends on what it is. It's either that or music theory, but then I'll watch Calc 1, which is Calc 1 is just a refresher. But Calc 2 and going into trig, like, well, we learned trig, but then we just
Trig
ran
was
over it.
before Calc.
Oh, we took Calc 1 and trig.
Why are we
at the
talking
same
about
time.
math? All right,
Anyways,
let's
but I was
continue.
just saying is
No
this is
math.
like there's a little bit of thrill of just as like being on Jeopardy in a situation where this is like, I actually know that. Instead of what
Yeah.
we went to college, what I went to college for was music. And like, hey, what note is that? You're about 50-50 right or wrong. you know what I mean?
Yeah, what's supposed to go here?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just like, could you analyze this piece of music? Yeah, this is how I feel like he analyzed it. Well, you're wrong. This is how I feel like he analyzed it.
John learns the English major right here, right now.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
true.
back to Elvis's daughter though.
Yes.
So Lisa Marie is her name. She divorced her husband on April 29th of 1996 or 94 or something like that, and then 3 weeks later married Michael Jackson. And they lasted for 20 months, and that was it.
The hee man.
That's short.
Can you imagine marrying someone 3 weeks after you divorce your other wife?
3
I would marry Michael
Hey,
Jackson.
sounds like Jack
weeks.
from season 4
But
of
she
Love
didn't
Island,
need to.
You'd
UK.
marry Michael Jackson?
Yeah, why not?
She
If
didn't
it's Michael
need
Jackson,
to, though. She
That's
had
scary.
Elvis.
But then they divorced after 20 months.
What was their
Michael's
argument?
spooky.
What was
That's
their
Pete
first
She didn't
Davidson
have
argument?
these
Elvis. Elvis was her dad.
Well, no. What I'm saying was that, like, she had the last name. She had fucking
Oh,
Presley.
yeah.
And so, like,
Yeah.
what was their argument?
What?
What was
What?
their
What
was their
argument?
what was their argument between Michael Jackson?
So in the court papers, it cites irreconcilable differences. I don't know what that means, but
I mean,
So they
that
really
kinda
want,
That's
was
what
it a
people say when
Vegas
they get
wedding?
divorced.
Those
Was
Can't
it
families
get
got a
along.
lot going on.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like not great things going on.
Guys, you want to know something nuts?
I'd love to.
What's nuts, John?
So my mom,
Yep.
Renee.
Silver Fox.
Yep, Silver Fox 85. It was I knew, but I didn't know.
New Michael
But
Jackson.
so she was actually not. My dad is not her first husband. She never had kids with the other guy, right? You Preston knows this. But I didn't know that they got married in Vegas. It was a Vegas wedding.
Really, your mom?
How soon?
I know,
Awesome.
literally. No, I was like, what?
How soon after was it?
It was. I
Was
think
it
it
like
was.
she met
I think
him
it
next
was
day?
one of the things, telling her dad, "I'm gonna marry him. I don't care what you do. Pack the bags, go down to Vegas, have a hell of a weekend, and then get married, and then live in Idaho. And then after a year, then like, this ain't working. And then
This ain't-
she
this
goes
ain't
back
it.
home. But I was like, I remember she was saying that because I was like, she's like, oh, I know what it is, just to get married or whatever. It was some sort of marriage conversation. It was like, I know what it is to get married. I went down to Vegas and got married. I was like, what? I was
Oh
like,
my god.
Just drops it randomly.
yeah.
That's kind of badass though.
It is though, really. To be honest, I was just kind of like, because we didn't know about any of that later. Because why would we, as kids? Like, well,
Yeah.
it's
Why would that
almost
come
like
up?
A previous boyfriend, right? No kids, nothing, whatever. But more of that and my mom, Renee, into the after hours, into the LooneyBin Podcast. Please follow us on our socials. We're on Spotify, YouTube. Check out our YouTube. We just dropped. Preston actually just made a new vlog. Check out our Rocket League weekend on that. We're on Instagram. We're also on TikTok. So please do that. And also use your new Amazon Prime subscriptions on Twitch right now. March 1st is tomorrow. So please do that. We have a stream coming up on Thursday. It's going to be a new game on Steam. Watch out for that. Could be really fun. So we'll catch you next time.
See ya.